What is Bigfoot? A myth? A legend? A hoax? Or a real flesh and blood creature? What about the reported sightings of Bigfoot? They can't all be misidentified animals. And how is it that most Native American cultures have stories about Bigfoot? After 2 separate sightings of a Bigfoot-type creature, I needed answers. I have now been researching Bigfoot for over 15 years, and I feel that my journey has just begun.
Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Good news is deer season's over and I'm back out to the woods. Something I've wanted to do for a while now is walk the other side of the lake shore from where I usually walk. So that's what we're doing today. The lake's still pretty low, so we can walk most of the shoreline without having to get up into the woods. But we will be walking along the shoreline looking for footprints, any places that look like they might be game trails going to the water, and we'll take a little bit of the game trail, look around, see what's on it if we find any, and we're just gonna spend the day looking for stuff like that. So stick with us. All right, since we've last been with you, we've walked a little bit of the shoreline. Then we had to move up into the woods because the shorelines are really muddy and it does not support our weight. We would be sinking up to our butts there. But here is one of the places I really wanted to check out, because this is where people on the other side of the lake at the bridge has told me that they could see something every once in a while moving around over here. It looked like a Bigfoot. So if you'll look right back over that way, let me see if I can get it. There's the bridge. Now we have walked all the way around to this area right here. We still got a ways to go to make it to the grits mill. But I wanted to check this area to see if there was any like walking trails, game trails, anything like that right along this area. But what I have found out is most of the time when this lake's up to full pool, all that out there in the woods right there is swamplands. So, although I'm not saying a Bigfoot couldn't be walking through there, I'm saying that we'll probably never find any evidence of it. So we're gonna keep walking and looking around, seeing what else we can find over here. As much as we can, we're gonna walk the shoreline because that's where you're gonna find footprints if you find any. But there are lots of deer tracks out through here, so we know the deers are out here, we know the coons are out here, and I believe that I've actually saw a few turkey prints, but it could have been another animal such as that. So we're gonna get back on it. We'll get back with you next time we see something or something comes up. All right. The shoreline has forced us to go back up into the woods so we wouldn't bog down. But we're staying real close to the lake, which is right there. So we're staying right here on the lake. If we find any trail or anything like that, we'll recognize it. But one reason why we wanted to come trailing through here right now, we can't get the kayaks up to our one of our research areas. But what we really wanted to do was to find out how bad the tornado messed up this area right in here that went through about 2 months ago. Now, according to Tornado Track, something that we had on our phones at the time, they went right through this area. My son doesn't live far from here, and tornado went right over his house. But we wanted to see if there was any damage done to the woods out here. And so far we haven't really found any damage done by the tornado other than a few older trees got knocked down from the high winds. There's no like trail through where a tornado went through yet. We still got a ways to go before we get to the other research area, but so far it looks pretty good. and I hear something out there walking around in there, probably a deer or something like that, but we're gonna keep heading that way. So, be back with you in a minute. Okay, we have made it down to the old grits mill in our research area, and water levels are really still low. I used to ride my kayak up through there. Now, you can't do none of that because part of it's dried out. So far, we haven't seen any tornado damage. Now, there is a few trees that have since knocked on over, but they were old and dying anyway, so that's just probably from strong winds, not tornado. But we're fixing to check all right up around here on this creek bed and in the creek, looking at some of these little sandbars that have protruded up, and we're going to look for footprints. So if we find anything, we'll let you know. This right here is one of the sandbars that I wanted to check out. It protrudes out into the creek itself from the shoreline. There's nothing on this except for some deer tracks, and right in here, if I can zoom in on it, there are some raccoon tracks. But that's all we finding right now. Right across there is where we camped that time that we done the kayak expedition trip. We camped right over there on the other shore from where we're at right now. And funny thing is, during summertime, when all the vegetation's up, there's things that you just don't see that you do in the wintertime. Like this table right here, it was right across from us the whole time. We never noticed. But we might have to move that thing over there to where we're gonna camp next summer, or this summer coming up. But right up here is the waterfall area. We're gonna walk on up that way a little piece, as much as we can anyway. These are rocks cascading through the creek. Makes a pretty sound for sleeping. Another one of the sandbars. No tracks on it except for maybe a couple of deer tracks. And that's about it. And we still haven't found any real tornado damage where a tornado actually come through right here. Like I said, we got the high winds where older trees were knocked down, but there is no path of where a tornado went through right through here, which I'm grateful for that. I mean, finding enough woods out here to do any research in is hard enough as it is. For a tornado to come through and wipe it out, well, that's just another sad story. But something's been right through here. I can't tell what it was. Probably coyote, deer, and other little animals like that. But right there, where my shadow, where my stick is, I can't tell you what kind of footprint that is. We hear geese now. But this is the same creek that we went down all summer last summer. Come up through here. Most of these rocks are underwater during the summertime. But this gives it a whole new meaning. I mean, it's a different place in the wintertime. All right, we're back out of the woods, fixing to walk again on the shoreline, headed back to the truck. What we've done basically is just walk around this side of the lake. Now, one thing that I did look for was game trails, see if there was any of them. We didn't find but one, It didn't have nothing in it other than a couple of deer tracks. And I also looked for tree stumps that someone could mistake for being a Bigfoot. Now, am I saying that all Bigfoot sightings are misidentified? No, not around here. If you lived in the city and you saw something you thought was a Bigfoot, I might have a little bit of concern. But most of these people around here are more comfortable in the woods than they are in their own living room. They know what's out here most of the time. So if you say somebody says they saw a bear, well, you can believe them. If somebody says they saw a deer, you can believe them. Somebody says they saw a Bigfoot, you can pretty much believe that. So there was no stumps that someone would mistake for a Bigfoot squatting down on the side of the shoreline. So if somebody tells me they saw a Bigfoot on that side over there this summer, I'm apt to believe them, instead of thinking that it might be a stump out there somewhere that they thought they saw a Bigfoot in. So that was one of the other reasons why I wanted to walk it. But our walk's about over now, and it's time to head to the house. So we'll catch you on the next video. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. We're still trying to build the channel, and we'll be back with you next time. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe.
And tell your friends.
Also find us on Facebook, Alabama Georgia Bigfoot Research Group.